Hello and welcome back to the Loop Hero series. In the last episode we were the warrior, back in Act 1 again. Again we comfortably beat the Lich boss. The third time in a row now that in Act 1 we beat the boss. We looped an additional time afterwards just to pick up some more resources and were able to build the supply depot. This has unlocked the supply and craft menu, so it looks like we can craft items that go into these slots in the supply menu and again give us little tiny additional buffs. And like the thing that's been running through this game, lots of little small changes equals a big change eventually, and hopefully this will start allowing us to push into Act 2, which we've only been into once at the moment and it really kicked our ass. So on this episode we're going to go back into Act 2 again, but this time as the warrior. I'm not expecting us to get to the boss, just seeing if we can push in further than we did the previous time. We've added the ruins card to our deck, which we unlocked as well when we opened the supply depot, and removed weak fields for now, to keep our deck just off the maximum. I don't want to add the spider cocoons, I think, just because they didn't add too much for us in the first act. I know in theory they should be an easier enemy for us in Act 2, but I think we're going to keep with the deck with how it is. It was working quite nicely for us. There is an argument to be made for Road Lantern to maybe make this a bit easier, but let's just see how this deck takes us at the moment. It's almost a working formula, minus the ruins which we just added. So let's begin again. We shouldn't have too many problems on this first loop. Let me just quickly equip our gear that we start with, and we're off. Remember now on Act 2, they have abilities. Every enemy will have an ability. So each attack lowers the target's defense by 0.3 points until the end of this battle. So potentially a nasty effect if you have a slime with multiple enemies. Immediately we have a treasury, which I'm all for, so we're going to immediately start putting meadows around it to try and open it early. I think last time in Act 2 we only got onto the third loop, so I'd like to get a little bit better than that. We're more familiar with the warrior as well than the rogue who we did it with last time, so I have better hopes for this. Our other little side project, I suppose, is to pick up more metals, because we need more metals to unlock the crypt that will give us a third class of necromancer. I think we're only one metal off it, so hopefully we'll pick it up on one stable metal off it. So let's hopefully pick it up on this run. I'm going to place the grove just before the end of the loop. For the last few runs we've put a grove and a blood grove here for when the boss spawns. I don't think we can get up to the boss, but the reason I'm placing it here now is I'd like to fight it on this loop, and I think day's about to tick. So we should spawn a rat wolf every 2 days. Not sure if we'll do it off this first day if it starts at 0. This is, again, a little bit of a test. Yeah, okay. We won't get it spawning for now. That's okay. A lot of meadows so far. So we're starting to open this treasure. We have basically no better weapons than we have at the moment. Just carry on. I said, since we're going for stable metals, we really want things to drop off the back of this, but not at the risk of us dying, and this game is much harder in the second act, as we found out before. I think I'm going to put a village here. I don't think I'm going to go for ruined villages either on this run, which do give us a great benefit, but I don't think we're going to survive as long as getting the ruined village. I'd rather just have the HP. So we have a cemetery, which I'm going to place, I think, on this corner here. Another meadow. I would really like to use rocks to open this up, so I think I'm now going to start placing my 3x3 mountains up here, and meadows adjacent to it to become blooming meadows. We're also getting these memory fragments as we pass through graveyards, thanks to opening up the graveyard at our home base. Picked up our first ring, regen, like to see it, and none of these are upgrades for us. But I've really been enjoying the series so far. I'm glad that Act 2 is giving us so much of a challenge as it is. I was a bit worried about just like storming through this game and then just a grind at the end to unlock all the buildings, but we definitely don't look like we're going to have this issue. Act 2 was very, very hard for us. Unfortunately, we just picked up another treasury. Had I known that, I guess I should have saved this slot here. Let's just place it down here for now. And we have another grove, which I think I will place here, and hopefully we'll get rat wolves on the next loop. So again, single slime. Basically the only enemy I think we fought so far is single slime, but we will get more variety on our next loop now, as we have our first rat wolf spawning. So 2 tiles off opening this treasury. Again, I might use the strategy of trying to wait for the end of this loop, then opening it because our enemy level will be higher, so we should get better loot. It's also our first blood grove, and I will definitely be placing that by one of our groves. Which one? I think I'm actually going to place it here for now, help us with the cemetery. We've also got our first ruins. So this gives a random basic resource and spawns a Scorch Worm. So we've not seen Scorch Worms yet. I think I'm going to place this as well by the Blood Grove, just to help us fight it. And see what the Scorch Worm's about. Place the mountain up here. We have a ring which has evasion instead of regen. And defense down, which we're not going to take. Another village, definitely welcoming it. Let's place it on this side of the loop now. We have a first bandit camp. Shouldn't be too much of an issue for this early in the game. We have our quest coming up just before our camp. And we're a quarter away to our next level. Another quest picked up from the village. 2 rat wolves. So the rat wolves have gnawing, so they can cause bleeding. And it does quite a lot of damage for every attack afterwards. So I imagine a pack of rat wolves is very dangerous. So I think that was the bleeding, yeah. So we're taking an additional 8 damage. They procced it twice, so this is pretty painful, this fight so far. Hopefully we'll get some decent loot off it. And hopefully we'll survive it. We do have potions, as I've mentioned. So it does allow us to be a bit more aggressive early on. So that was the quest rat wolf, which I thought had quite a lot of HP. What was this resource? Living fabric. So we can find 10 pieces of fibre from a whole Orb of Evolution. I'm not sure we've seen that yet. Maybe this is a unique resource for Act 2. I'm going to place another rock down. And I might hold this meadow just for a second to open up this as we pass through the start. And I am going to do that now, because I feel a bit under threat. We've got an Oblivion, which I appreciate. Another meadow, which I'll use to start opening up this treasury. This ring is just more stats better. I'm not going to look too much into this. And again, just pure base stats, the armor has to be better. So, I think this loop was where we retreated last time. We're looking fairly good at the moment. I should probably place down this grove as well on this side of the loop. I think I'm going to place it here. Could put Blood Grove there. Another mountain. And let's get going. I don't think we've seen a harpy yet. So let's try and find out what the harpy's abilities is. Skeleton can resurrect, and we saw this last time. We formed a shattered skeleton. No such problem this time. Again, much better armor in terms of raw stats, and I think I will just trade that up immediately. A solo champion rattle shouldn't be too much of an issue for us. Currently, we are not gaining any form of HP other than the day tick over, which is plus 28, or any we get from potions, and we're probably going to pop the potion on this loop from the look of things. We've picked up another village, and I want to place this in front of us somewhere to get more quests. Just need to be careful where we place this. I think we place this here, but we make sure we don't put a vampire mansion there. And let's place a rock here. Spawns a goblin camp, and I might just immediately Oblivion this. As I said, we could save these for the boss. Last time it spawned Lich Palaces. We don't know what this boss does yet. I would probably hold them if I was going for an expected boss run, but I'm really just trying to stay in here as long as we can and see as many effects as possible. So again, the Rat Wolf has the bleed effect. I think we did notice as well there are some enemies that have different effects. So the same enemy might have 2 different effects, which increases like the uniqueness of the game. So this is our first time seeing a Scorch Worm. So its living has a soul, Archer. So this also takes part in battles on adjacent tiles. A range combat third row, minus 30% damage in second row, minus 6% in first. And retreat 40% of chance of fleas that have been killed. So these things seem really annoying. So we might want to be careful putting difficult tiles adjacent to them. It also has an effect of archery in close combat, which I guess is lowering its damage. It's only doing 3 damage, which isn't a lot. It does say at the bottom minus 60% damage. I don't know if that's the effect of archery in close combat. I presume it is. So yeah, they basically do no damage. But we probably don't want to have a monster tile adjacent, because I assume now a Scorch Worm is going to take part in this battle. We have more arm, which has some vampirism on it, so I'm going to just take this, because we do want a little bit of sustain. Carnivorous roots. Oh yeah, that's just, sorry, that's from the Blood Grove. I never noticed the effect actually is shown up there. Just adding defense on this shield. It's interesting the Scorch Worm didn't take part in the battle with that slime then. Maybe it was just because I'd killed it already, so it had to be on that tile. I presume that's how it's working. Our first battlefield. So again, we could get ghosts by placing this near things that have souls. But I think I want to be a bit cautious with this right now. I might place it on this corner here. And then be careful about tiles I put around. Another rock that I would like to open the treasury with. And let's carry on. We have now 2 bandits on this tile, unfortunately. But we should be able to cope with it. 5% chance of throwing a hero's item, so the bandits are actually pretty dangerous. Another good target probably for Oblivions, just to remove these. I don't know if it destroys from our active inventory or what, but if it does, they could really hurt us on a run into the boss. So we have a ring here that raises our evasion, lowers our counter, which I'm fine with. It has magic damage and regen, so I think I'll trade these rings. And we only had a base sword basically before, and now we just have a slightly better sword, just base stats. They also seem to have really high evade, which we saw in later loots on Chapter 1. Might be surprisingly difficult enemies actually, more so than I thought they would have been. I mean, look at this evade chance at the moment. We did pop a potion then as well. Let's use these meadows over here. We're 1 mountain off a 3x3. We might pop a potion again soon. Probably will do on this loop. But that's fine, we get 2 more at the camp. Battlefield is per loop. I think for now I'm just going to place it... I think I'll place it here. So hopefully we'll get the treasure chest on that tile. And we won't get too many enemies on this village if we don't waste it. And as I said, I don't think I'm going to look at wasting the villages this time. We got our first vampire mansion. I'm going to take a bit of a risk here. I'm going to put it on this corner. It's affected by the Blood Grove, I think. So that'll help us kill the vampires. The vampire was an extremely difficult enemy last time. They already had vampirism in Chapter 1, and now they can spawn bats, which can do damage down or stuns, I think, to everyone. We have a gargoyle. I don't think we've seen a gargoyle either on Act 2 yet. So again, it'd be interesting to see what these effects are. Just learn what we should be looking at. 3x3 mountain, just in time. And another meadow by this treasury. We've picked up a few scrap metals, just to need a few more to be able to get the crypt as well. Which is our other side goal. But we have survived longer than we did as the rogue, which I guess isn't too much of a surprise. Again, a weapon was just a raw stat better than it was before. I will take it. And where do we place this vampire mansion? A real spicy play would be to play it on this corner, but I don't think I will do. I'm a bit worried of them. But I will take one in this fight at the moment, because we're about to heal again. And we still have 2 potions, so I'm happy to pop 1 potion in this fight. So as you can see, they have 30% vampirism, and they can summon a bat after the health drops below 50. So here's the bat, and the bat has repellent squeak and vampirism. So everything can get ringing affairs, including ringing in the ears. It can also affect the enemies. So it's not a terrible effect, I guess, if there's multiple enemies. It's more likely it's going to affect their side, but still a bit frustrating. But we need these vampires because they're, at least in the early game, our best way of getting better loot. For example, we've just picked up a shield here which is demonstrably better than what we had. And I think, other than that, it's fine. So we didn't heal to full there, we've gone back to full potions. Things look pretty good at the moment. Another Oblivion, I'm welcoming it. We could, as I said, destroy the bandit camp. Let's just quickly see our abilities. Well, we were looking for supplies on the last run. Unfortunately, we've got it on this one. I don't think we're going to go long enough into the loop that this actually matters. Adding defense, though, would be quite nice. It helped us last time. Hard to say exactly how much, but I think I might take this again. It appears defense is quite an important stat, I guess, as you'd expect, especially for sustain, and we seem to take a lot of damage. So we're on planning. We just picked up an antique shelf as well. Its contents are protected from dust and moisture by a layer of glass, but you can still look. This piece of furniture has seen better days, so you'd better not use it too often. Plus 1 to max HP for every whole resource gained during this expedition. Okay, that's interesting. A different type of resource, so I assume this is during this expedition? So at the moment it's giving us 5 extra HP. I mean, every little helps. I think I might try and hold on to this treasury. That weapon I'm happy to equip, and not interested in the other ones right now. Single rat will fine for us. We've picked up another ruins. So these enemies were fine to fight on their own. So I think we place one here, because we're probably never going to get a monster on the village tile. So Flesh Golem, Dying Strike, won't die until it deals its last hit. Dangerous for a creature that we already know does incredible amounts of damage. Not sure how this synergizes with the Blood Grove. It looks like, yeah, the Blood Grove didn't kill it then. Okay, a formidable enemy still in Chapter 2 it appears. We now have a grove. Where do we want to place just a basic grove? Again, I think I'm going to stick it over here on this corner. We have 2 more rocks. I'm just going to place up here for HP. Trying to hold out on this until we complete the loop. Whether or not we do complete it or not, we don't know. So this ring we lower evasion slightly. We gain vampirism and attack speed instead of counter. I think this is a good trade-up for us. The other things, I think I'm happy with what we've got. We have now picked up one of these stable metals, so one of the goals has been complete. I think I'm now going to use one of these second Oblivions just to get rid of this bandit camp. And let's carry on. So this bandit could spawn a ghost, I suppose, next to the battlefield. But it's the last time we'll have to deal with this. And we didn't get a ghost, which is great. And this isn't a mimic. So we just picked up a kitchen's knife now. So 1 HP for every food item placed in your camp. Okay. So this is... I don't know if I'm getting these effects right now, or if it's stuff that I have to equip in that supply menu. Because we can't really interact with our camp right now. We'll test it when we get home, I suppose. Another blooming meadow, and let's carry on. So it looks like we're going to fight a gargoyle sooner than expected. One looks like it's about to spawn in front of us. 2 villages is exactly what I was looking for. So I think I'm going to place another village here. I presume a chest can spawn onto this village, and I hope I haven't just destroyed that. And then I think I'm going to place another one around here somewhere. Maybe here. And I'm holding onto this rock for now. I'm glad those two gargoyles didn't go onto the same tile, because we still don't know what they do. But we look a lot stronger in this run. Better than the rogue run, definitely. Okay, let's continue to put mountains in this corner. Let's see what a gargoyle does. So, impenetrable. Any damage dealt not during the unit's attack phase is decreased by 60%. So I guess gargoyles... Any damage not dealt during the unit's attack phase. Does that mean that it's going to affect our base attack, or is it the counter? It looks like it might be just our base attack, so maybe we need counter to deal with the gargoyle. Quite low HP though, and we have dealt with it fairly easily. But interesting again to see these synergies. We've just spawned another goblin camp. I don't want it. Goodbye. We're 50% of the way spawning the boss. We have to really pay attention to it this time. We don't want to fight the boss on this run. It's almost certainly going to kill us. So I can trade off our vampirism for damage to all. More HP. I think I will make the trade. So more HP, some more quests. Just a single worm, they do very little damage. That's fine. Aha, this time we had a worm spawn behind us, and now we're seeing its artillery. We're also seeing Harpy for the first time. It's a quest one as well, so it's got more HP. Gets the prediction effect every 3 seconds, which allows it to ignore incoming damage once. So it's a guaranteed evasion. So it looks like attack speed would be very beneficial against this. If you had slow, high attacks, then I imagine this is a nightmare to fight, and it's kind of the situation we're in at the moment, where attack speed up is only plus 8%. This thing's also peppering us for like 11 or 12 damage, so this is quite a dangerous fight actually. So we just saw its evade pop once then. Again, difficult tile here. I would like to target the vampire first if we could do, but we're taking huge swathes of damage at the moment, especially from the bleeding. We have bats now spawning, and we've dealt with it fine. Didn't get as good loot as I'd expect for what was a very tricky tile in my opinion. Place the meadow down. We complete the complete a loop, so we're now on the 5th loop of Act 2. Great improvement for us. And I'm going to pop the treasury right away. So we have 2 shields, both with a defense up. One of them has 12% counter instead of attack speed and damage to all. And the other one has counter, the same amount of counter, but magic damage plus 2. I think it's not worth the trade right now. I think I would rather have damage to all, strangely, as I said. I feel like it's started undervalued a bit, but as long as we're not going to fight this boss, I think damage to all is fine. We're starting to get to the point where it's taking so long to go around loops that multiple enemies are spawning on certain tiles. Let's keep damage to all just to help us trickle down killing these. And as I speak, the day passes again. Singles slime, completely fine. This village, I think I'm going to place here. We have another bandit camp, so I'm going to Oblivion that as soon as I get the ability to do so. So we're attacking the vampire. The bats could stun us. All the enemies as well, so it's quite good to get them out first. We have another ruins now, which are giving us a random result. And I didn't really mention this, I've noticed we're picking up interesting resources. So we've got craft fragments now, a delicate fitting, a masterful carrying, fragments of work done by someone's skilled hands. And we have pitiful remains, a life someone lived, a desire to keep living, a sad fate. So this gives us an Orb of Afterlife. Okay. We have another treasure. Let's just place it up here. And we can put a meadow in between them. Saves us a tile. These worms, we don't want to put worms next to worms because we'll get the artillery effect. We should possibly put them here. Right behind the village seems like a decent place to keep the ruins. We also picked up some armour, which instead of damage to all, we have counter, some regen and some evasion. I think I'll take it. And a ring where we could get additional attack speed, but we would be trading 7% evasion, 2 magic damage, 7% vampirism, and we'd get counter instead. Not interested. So this is probably the more difficult part of the loop. You know, as I said, I would like to attack the vampire first if I could choose, but auto battler, so you have to deal with it. Still not a bad order. The vampire is probably one of the higher damaging enemies we're seeing right now, and I'd rather get the bats early to affect other enemies. Bloodgrove is helping us a lot with this battle there. Nevertheless, we took about half our HP. We've used a potion as well. We have another battlefield, which I think I'm going to just place on this corner here. A lot more meadows, so let's start placing these around our treasuries. And another grove. Am I willing to do another grove? I think I'll put another grove here, maybe get a blood grove on the corner. We also have a shield with a lot more defense. We trade off regen attacks being damage to all. I think I might take this. I don't know how good raw stats are versus the abilities, but I feel like a 2 skill level like that, and it was so much defense more. I think that's better than having the regen. So again, we have the artillery worms here, which are going to do a lot of damage. And this fight could be prolonged by this bandit. Fortunately, it wasn't. But we really want to obliterate that. It's really ruining our synergy, actually, with having the worms here. Also, this could be a bit of an awkward battle because we have a flesh golem on it. Let's place our cemetery here and continue. So this could be actually a really dangerous tile. We could die off this tile. They're doing 72 damage now, the flesh golems. And our evasion's only 15%. We haven't been lucky with it at the moment. Just got a lucky evade, actually. I'll take 1 out of 4 attacks evaded. 2 out of 5. Better than probably you'd expect. And we got great loot off that. Well, at least numerically great loot. Higher damage on a sword. Vampirism evasion. Trade counter. Yes, please. We also skilled up. I should check the skill first, actually. So there's a 35% chance to form a counter-attack during the raid. We can place cards multiple times, potentially 10% chance. I don't really get the benefit of this card yet, but there might be some more powerful cards. And every counter-attack restores 1.5 loop HP. I think I'm more likely to lean into evasion, so I'm going to take some assault. So now evasion is a more important stat to us if we can keep it. This gives us defense, some regen. We do lose the evasion, which I said we wanted to keep. But it's a big change in HP. Enough so that it's probably better to upgrade. And another ring, this gives us more evasion. Let's have it. New quest. And a kind of potentially tricky tile. We've dealt with the slime early, so we've now got a bit of a defense down, I believe. Yeah. So the harpy's going to hit us harder. Fortunately, we haven't got damage to all, and we haven't found out if this is a mimic yet. If it was a mimic and this got opened up early, it could really have chunked us down. But it wasn't a mimic anyway, so it didn't matter. Another set of ruins. I think I'm going to try and place this here. I presume they have a soul, so it'll affect our battlefield now. But let's try and see what a ghost does. I forgot that I was going to open this. Sailor V. Nothing was better. Let's carry on. I guess the question again is, do I want to place this grove down? I think I'm happy to place a grove here. But this is starting to become very difficult now. Nowhere near spawning the boss yet. Well, I didn't know we're like 60% of the way. Again, another annoying tie where the Scorch Worm is hitting us from afar. But let's kill him now. We have a level 6 ring. Damage to all. Regen way higher. Attack speed up. Defense down. We lose evasion, so I'm not going to take it. Just held there for a second, just because I got a Blood Grove. Trying to think where's the best place for this. Probably here, just in case a bandit comes out. Maybe even here. help us deal with the Scorch Worms. It's a pretty tricky decision, actually. You know what? I'm going to put it at the start. Help us with the vampire. We have another meadow that I'm going to place around the treasury. Another rock. And another mountain. Let's go. So, how would I feel in this run so far? I feel like we've gone further than I expected. I was kind of expecting to do 4 loops and then have to retreat again. Might be lucky with items, I suppose, but at the moment we're looking pretty good to keep going. And I'm not going to say no to fighting the boss if it looks like we can beat him. Or at least we look strong enough that we can try and fight him. Another goblin camp. Really looking for some oblivion right now. Another meadow down. We're 1 tile off opening the treasury. I will try to hold out if we can complete the loop this time. I did accidentally open the other one as well before. So we had a ghost there. I didn't quite see what it did, but it looks like it's given us a stun. I don't know if that was on us hitting it. I never had a chance to see. I'm going to hold this meadow actually for now. I'll use that to open the treasury. But I prefer a rock. So, worse armor. A few Scorch Worms. They're doing 10 damage now per hit. Still not a lot compared to other enemies at this part of the loop. I'm not interested in that armor. And I'm not interested in that armor. Bloodgrove now should help us in this battle. Yep. Nice. As I said, it's going really well, man. We have got an Oblivion now. I'm going to use it on this bandit camp. It's really annoying at the moment having the Scorch Worms here and guaranteed enemies spawning in front of it. This is possibly more dangerous, but I'm going to leave it for now. I'm also going to have another battlefield, I think, here. This, interestingly, didn't synergize to change the villages. I was wondering if that would happen, and it didn't, which is good news for us. Again, similar fight to before. Bloodgrove will help us kill these. In fact, they didn't even spawn a bat that time, which is, again, excellent. We're about to hit the end of the loop again. Have another vampire mansion. I'm just going to hold it. So this gargoyle is very annoying at the moment. They can really tank damage unless we have counter, and we don't have counter. So we've really attacked the wrong enemy here, but we had nothing we could do about it. Well, I say we have nothing we could do about it. I suppose evasion can now counter for us. We completed a loop, so we're now on loop 6. I'm just going to pop this meadow down. It won't be a blooming meadow. Let's see the loot we get. I'm not willing to trade evasion right now, so not as good as I was hoping. I'm going to place a meadow down here. I'm going to turn this one into a blooming meadow as well by just putting the rock up here. And let's carry on. So the loop's becoming a lot more difficult now. As I said, it's taking longer to get around, so the day's effects are triggering more often. Definitely more mobs on this loop now than we've had before. So I'm hoping we can survive it. It's going to change our judgment ability a little bit, Act 2 versus Act 1. If it was Act 1, I'd say we're completely fine, but I do feel like the squeeze of this act, like the difficulty going up. And it doesn't take a lot for this to go completely wrong for us. Level 5 shields, damage to all, tempting again. But I think we'll just take the raw damage stat. We have another cemetery now. I'm considering putting this onto this corner. It's very, very risky. It'd be quite a busy tile. We'd have the vampire coming off it as well. But it is affected by Bloodgrove. Alternatively, I could put it back here. Yeah, maybe I will put it back here. Less mobs, still affected by Bloodgrove. Let's see how we'll deal with it. So this is again dangerous tile. Skeletons hit very hard and they can come back to life. We haven't seen it yet on this run, but we have seen it on a past run. I think I'd rather have the regen than counter. I'm not sure if Bloodgrove stops that from happening, but we haven't seen it so far. I will trade this armor over. the bats have spawned. We seem to have changed target onto the bats, which is a bit annoying. They also seem to be immune to that ringing in the ears effect, which I don't appreciate, but it makes sense. So immediately a bleed proc occurred, so we're going to have a lot of pain off this fight. Level 8 shields, just better stats. Nice time for it to show up, actually. So we can see here the Harpy has her evade proc, guaranteed to evade an attack. Does look like a fast attack damage is pretty beneficial in this act so far. We've also got an Oblivion, which I was waiting for. I don't want to Oblivion the village. I think let's get rid of the Goblin camp down here. We've also picked up some more ruins. I don't really want to put it behind a tower with enemies. So really I want to put this after a village if I can do. So I might put it on here. That should be fine for us. And let's place these rocks down here. Again, just have to bear in mind where we are in terms of spawning the boss. We might try and fight him though. It would be a big risk though. So villages now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think there's no harm in us placing another village down for now. So I will. I'm going to place it on this inside corner. So the next village we put down will give us a negative effect by giving us a bandit camp. This cemetery, I think I'm going to leave it on this inside corner here. We're really looking for a blood growth down here now though. We also picked up another armor. A lot more max HP, but we do lose the vampirism and defense. I'm not sure how, as I said, it's hard to really judge what the raw stat is worth. I think if I didn't have another equipment slot, which is just literally a raw stat, I might take this, but I think the vampirism is beneficial right now. More so than the HP. If we go very low, then we should just switch over immediately, just for the HP gain off it. So as I said, this is a really potentially dangerous tile. These guys bandits can evade for days, and we're just getting peppered by these worms. One of our items got destroyed as well for the first time. That was our ring. So we should really immediately just equip a ring. Yep, that one's fine. That is a horrible ability. Bandits are very dangerous. This tile again, not great. Scorch Worms don't do much damage to us, but this Flesh Golem sure does a lot of damage to us. And we're almost certainly popping potions this fight, maybe multiple. I will trade. A little bit more attack speed, lower vampirism, but if we attack more often, vampirism procs more. We have a better weapon, lower evasion, more damage. I think I will trade. But yeah, it's really hurting us right now. As usual, Flesh Golem, great loot dropping off it. So this weapon, we do lose evasion, but more damage, kill things faster, better. We have 6 shields, 7 shield, so we'd be trading 8 defense for much higher attack speed. It wouldn't even be 8, it'd be 5 defense. I think I'm going to trade this back down actually. Attack speed, as I said, looks like quite a good stat. And we get regen off this, magic damage and more defense. But we lose out on some of the vampirism and some of our attack speed. I think I will make this trade. And we have 2 level 7 rings. Evasion is good for us. Vampirism is also good for us. Attacking more often is better. So I think we take the vampirism for now. We can also do with the heal. Timely village as well, to get a nice little heal. Gotta watch this boss meter now. It is creeping up on us. I don't feel an urge as well to place enemies. This difficulty seems just about right for us. Again, no mimic. The armor isn't any better. Kill off these Scorch Worms. We're about to level. If we got a very good ability off the level, I might consider going for the boss kill. But right now I feel like we would be in a place where we could kill the Act 1 boss, which probably doesn't do us any favours for Act 2. I imagine it's a much harder fight. Also, no guarantee we're going to survive this corner. It's a lot more dangerous than I think I intended it to be. Another growth. I'm just going to hold it. Again, 2 goblins on this tile, and one of them's a leader. So he has also got a tactician, increases the attack speed of all allies. So we really want to attack the leader first. Unfortunately, we're not. So he's now got his rage buff. I don't know if it procs multiple times. I don't think it does. But we're getting bled at the moment as well, and the goblin hitting us. That was a brutal fight. Again, we're not at risk of spawning the boss. We did ding. So we get 1.5 damage for every potion used. We can drop off supplies. And that doesn't really benefit us right now. Or battering ram. The hero rushes into the battle head on and hits first. Has a 75% chance to stun each enemy for 1 second. I think we take this. The stun chance effectively again is like a pseudo heal. It stops us taking damage. But this really isn't what I'm looking for to like defeat this boss. I'm feeling like the way our HP is going at the moment, I think we get out on this run. I think we can make the cozy camp. Let's just try to do it. Again, another tricky tile. Just because bandits have spawned at this village. A lot of evasion chance off them. They just destroyed my ring again. So I'm going to take damage to all to try and finish this fight quicker. But they are really horrible. Definitely the main target, I think, for Oblivions now. Going forwards. Again, not spawning the boss. So I'm fine with this. This should be quite a simple battle for us. We stunned 2 of them as well. Level 6 rings. Has vampirism on it. And attack speed. I think we'll trade this out now. Tricky tile again. We were unlucky, I think the day passed and the Scorch Worm spawned behind us. But still, we have 2 potions left. I kind of misplayed this. Yeah, we didn't get the resource off it. That's my fault. Let me place the grove immediately in front. Definitely still not spawning the boss. The camp spawned behind us. I should have looked at that before I placed it. We do get an Oblivion, which could be nice. So what is the most difficult tile coming up? This has a gargoyle skeleton. We'll have a vampire as well. Just see where this happy lands. I think I'm looking at Oblivion, something on that side. It might even be the vampire mansion. I'm removing an enemy off 2 fights there. Again, I don't want to spawn the boss. Okay. I'm going to hold on to the rock. I'm going to place a cemetery down here. Just to get the resources I pass through it. The skeleton won't spawn. We got a ghost. Again, I didn't check, but it clearly has a stun effect. We're not going to place this treasure because we're never going to get it. I will place the village here. That was very lucky it spawned a bandit camp. I'm going to Oblivion that. So this shouldn't be too hard to fight. One of them is a quest, but they don't do too much damage for this time in the game. We're about to get a heal as well from this village. So, yeah, things are going fine. As I said, this is better than I expected. We really had no expectations of fighting the boss in this run. As I said, I thought we were going to make 4 loops, so to actually have quite a good resource run. We've also picked up these items, which I'm intrigued to see if we can equip at camp. We've also picked up an Orb of Evolution, which I don't think we've ever seen before. Bloodgrove is going to help in this fight. Got the stun off on both of them, which is very nice. And now that we've hit camp, I think we just run. I don't want to risk spawning the boss as well on this tile. I don't think you have to fight him if it's on the tile. But for a little bit of stone, let's just be safe and make sure we get home. So we get to keep everything. These items were included on this, so I'm glad we're not losing them. Let's retreat. But as I said, that was a great run. No complaints there. Can we get the crypt? So we can unlock the crypt. We could also unlock the smelter, but not both. I think from an interesting standpoint in the game, I will get the crypt. I could also get the intel center, which is linked to a lot of things. But let's see what the necromancer can do. And let's thematically keep the crypt by the graveyard. Oh, you're interested too, eh? Not everyone appreciates it. Not everyone understands. People can serve you not only when they're voices, but with bones, swords, bows. And they are not evil if you don't fear them. You're right, I only need to raise a hand and... Wait, I've never done anything like this before. If I remember correctly, the craft teaches itself, often through books, or words, or walls, and stones in your case. It's an unusual way. Okay, so that was again us hinting at memory. It's not a new character we're getting, it's still the same character, but he's just unlocking the memory of being a necromancer. Let's see if we can just have a look at this. So yeah, here we go. We now have the necromancer. I think we'll take him into chapter 1 for the next episode. So the necromancer summons skeletons that fight instead of their master. Okay, so we have no weapon slot. We have a book slot now though. The number and power of skeletons depend on the necromancer's equipment and skills. And the additional class stats, we get summon quality now and skeleton's power. And regeneration. Okay. Interesting. We'll lose vampirism. And he also starts in the with the warrior's gear. He has 2 ring slots, no armor slots. And what looks like an amulet or a necklace. Don't think we added any cards either into our deck with that. I think I might keep the ruins for another run. We were getting random resources and we've got some interesting additional things. Just want to take a look again at the supply menu. So okay, so these have gone into supplies. So kitchen knife has to go into tools. And it is giving us 1% HP for every food item placed in your camp. So it currently is only giving us an extra 1% HP because we have 1 food. We also have this antique shelf, 1% to max HP for every whole resource gained during this expedition. Okay, so I see how this works now. So this buff is affecting us from the camp, so any character going forwards, when they pick up resources, they get additional max HP. So this makes actually items that raise your resource cap all supposed to be pseudo HP ups. So that, again, great thing to bear in mind going into the future. I still don't think I want to craft anything. And it currently looks like I can only do 2 things. The metal seems very important for buildings right now. I do have a lot of food, so maybe I do craft some food resources. Let me just go back into this menu. So I need 17 for the intel center, 4 if I want to build a mud hut. But I don't think I do at the moment. So 3 for the smelter. So if I keep 20 rations, I'd be quite content right now. So let's do it for the food. So it's going to take 5. So let's do this twice. So I have garlic bread, and cheese. Not a big fan of cheese in my personal life, not a really big dairy fan. But in this game, I'm going to take that. So now these affect with our kitchen knife. So we've made more food items. What was garlic? So +2 damage against vampires. Man, I love this fucking game. It's incredible. They've just thought about all these little things. So we can get items here for specific mobs. So this makes us really want to have this vampire match in the deck, which we've never removed. It seems to be a good card. I'm all for this. And cheese is 1 HP after killing an enemy. Every little helps. That's what they always say. Again, I don't think I can upgrade anything at the moment. Those symbols seem to have been patched out. I don't know if it was a bug that maybe they're meant to appear when you can't upgrade something. But virtually everything needs a hell of a lot of resources. So it looks like at the moment it's more beneficial for us, at least for now, in terms of seeing what this game can offer, to just keep unlocking buildings in the building menu rather than upgrade something. I suppose if we get a huge excess of a resource, we have a lot of wood right now. we can just chuck it into an upgrade maybe, if it's just wood expensive. We could also build another farm, but I think for now, I'm going to hold on to my resources, especially the metal. I think Intel Center would be a big get next. Again, we've seen it linked with a lot of things. But also the smelter. This gives us a golden card, but I think the Intel Center says it unlocks the ability to add gold cards. So let's unlock the ability first. So again, another run, we're going to look at trying to get 3 metals with the Necromancer. We'll try and beat the first boss, as we have done with the other 2 characters. Brilliant. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'm loving this game, as I said, so far. It's meeting more than my expectations, better than I thought it could be. If you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'm going to see you next time. Goodbye.